Welcome to the Brain Trust, the place where ideas get pondered, brainstormed, and expanded on, where infinitives are split boldly, and where we occasionally divide by zero. This week we're talking about jobs, huge jobs, great jobs, tremendous jobs that you can get with a high school diploma. Anyway, joining me are my co-conspirators of the evening, Cassie and Placeholder, and coming in a little bit later, we should have Egglord the Nosferatu, and hopefully a few others. Welcome to the Brain Trust, guys. Actually, you're always here, so welcome back to the Brain Trust. Office looks nice. I see.
This is my home now.
I see you've been cleaning up, Placeholder. That's a job you can get for less than a high school diploma.
That is true, yes. I have been cleaning up, actually, at the college that I work at.
So that's kind of a catch-22 on this whole subject, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Don't forget, kids, it doesn't matter how educated you are, you can always be a janitor.
And don't forget, if you get educated enough, you'll be really stupid.
You'll be a genius janitor.
No, but there are a tremendous number of jobs, and some of them are really important. My favorite, as I've been talking about it with people all week, is farmer.
Yeah.
Farmer. Yeah, and it's a job that you can actually give yourself. You just have to be, willing to take on the loans and the responsibility and the liability of not being able to pay back the loans and being sacrificed to the gods of credit, that kind of thing.
Yep, and then you pass your tremendous burden on to your family.
Yeah, after the government takes a great big bite out of your ass. Welcome
after
to the
taking over.
But don't worry, that inheritance tax, it's theft too. Shit.
That one I actually agree with.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact,
inheritance tax is double dipping.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say real quick and go off subject for a second and say that one of the most effective ways that the English had of breaking the Irish in the 750 years that they attempted to do that was through the inheritance tax, by slowly, basically taxing the land directly out from underneath the people. Anyway,
God love English colonialism.
Yeah, in English. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the show, Egglord. We're talking about jobs you can get with just a high school diploma. And so what are you doing these days?
Putting me on the spot. Damn. I'm doing retail. Working in a thrift store.
Okay. Retail's not bad. It's reliable.
Very reliable. Yeah. And you can always hold 3 or 4 of them.
Yep. Exactly. Although, not gonna lie, there are miserable aspects to it. Largely having to deal with ineffective management. But
I would think that in retail the job isn't so bad so long as you don't have any customers.
Yeah. That is absolutely 100% true. I used to work retail. Yep. I actually kind of missed that job because I was making $11 an hour plus an extra like $300 a month on commission. It was really, really nice. I was really good at my job, and then I lost my apartment.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when I worked retail, I was always in a supervisor position, and I would often find myself having to work nights doing stocking. Those were the best shifts ever. Like, getting up in the middle of the night, not fun, but having to, just the whole store silent, nobody bugging you, throw on some headphones and just pick stuff up and put it on shelves. Yeah, easiest job ever.
I work for Goodwill. I can't do night shifts.
Well, okay, Alta, it doesn't allow you to do night shifts. So, but Alta is being a dick.
I'm good on night shifts, man. Like, I fucking hate night shifts. I worked 1 night shift at my current job after saying I absolutely will not work night shifts.
Yes,
and
I know.
I had to take one because one of my coworkers had like an emergency, like she always does. But Oh god, dude, fucking night shift customers are just assholes.
I don't know. Some of them are pretty
What?
good.
Some of them are creepy too.
I've worked. If you're in a state that has quick trips and you're okay with retail and specifically gas station work, highly recommend it. Great, high-paying job.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
start you off at like 9:50. Managers start at like 10:50, I think. It was
well,
really
the best part about QT is actually that the bonuses are either equal to or often, depending on where you work, can be greater than your hourly wage.
Yep.
And that's on a monthly basis. Like your monthly bonuses will be either, real close to equal or greater than your actual hours. So whatever your hourly wage is, work there for 6 months and then double it.
I actually do have a suggestion for a job. This one may not have come into anyone's mind but mine, but you could actually do PI work without a degree.
I believe a lot of states actually have requirements on experience and certificates.
They have requirements on experience, but you can get that through interning.
Yeah,
it's like an apprenticeship.
And yeah, it's basically an apprenticeship. In Florida, in particular, you have to have at least 2 years of experience, which you can substitute with like a year of college in law, but it would be easier just to get it through interning, I think.
PIs actually do make pretty decent money from what I've heard.
Yeah, it's all job to job, but yeah, from what I hear, it's not a bad line of work, and I've been looking into eventually getting into that as a possibility.
You could always be a shot girl.
A shot girl?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I think you'd do great.
Yeah, I've already done it before.
Welders, though. Welders, amazing money. All you have to do is get your welding certifications. Like 3G welding is like oil rig work. 4G welding is like underwater welding. 5G welding is like welding with magnesium. And you get all this like knowledge and shit about how to burn things.
Let's take a moment.
Let's
take a moment here, since you brought up welding, and point out the value of trade schools and apprenticeships.
Yes.
Yeah, because having a degree is, it can definitely help you out. But in all reality, if you want to get in quick and fast and hit the ground running, you can go with like certificates or even an associate's degree at a trade school in like a year and a half, 2 years. And
Job Corps is another option.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can go in for something like welding. If you, for example, you love scuba diving, and you do 2 years worth of welding at your local trade school, it costs you $2 or $3 grand worth of tuition, and you come out, you do underwater diving at 6 figures, and then you look over at your 4-year university friend who's like, why am I still making $15 an hour? Like, because you're not needed. I am.
Well,
demand has a lot to do with what you get paid.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, cosmetology, the fashion industry is always growing, so it's an easy degree. 2 years at most.
But we are talking about jobs that you can get without a degree. So I'm going to steer away from I really did want to promote trade schools and apprenticeships. I think they're great. Because they teach you this, like, it's on the job training that you pay for whatever it is that you want to do.
You could also do trucking. I don't know if you've covered that or not.
We have not covered trucking. You do actually have to go to truck driving school for that, though.
Right, but it's not college.
It's not college. I keep coming up with ones that do require some level of education, but they're not college education.
I'm thinking, how do you help somebody who has zero college, they have a high school diploma, they don't have any money, and they haven't applied for any schools. They're looking for a job right now.
You can look for jobs that are job fairs, yeah. A lot of security companies are willing to train are willing to train on site. I know that much. I was talking to Hagbard one time, and he talked about his father doing work for local sewer. His father doing work in one of Florida's sewage treatment plants, and they're willing to usually train you on site. They're not going to accept people who apply out of state or out of city, because too many people skip out of town a couple weeks into the job. But they will train you to do the work, and it pays well, and it's honest work.
If you are of the right physical build, porn work is pretty good.
Yeah.
Cam girls.
Don't need a degree for that.
Cam girls.
Yeah, you can apply to if you're a woman, you can apply pretty much to any company, and you can. Yeah.
Just don't go. Just don't go in for all the interviews.
You'd be surprised how many people on the internet would wish I'd be a cam girl. So yeah, I know that one exists.
Yeah. There's also I'm gonna go ahead and throw out construction. If you're a guy, good physical strength, or just a very strong woman who wants to get some exercise on a regular basis. Let's not be too sexist here. Then yeah, definitely in there for you.
You could be a male exotic dancer.
You could be a male cam girl. You could be the world's first non-binary cam
boy.
Cam trap. Cam trap.
Oh,
there you
go. I'm pretty sure that is already a thing. But
yeah.
All right, so let's get out of the sex industry. I think you can actually get a job at a brewery, which I highly recommend. Unless you don't like the smell of bread, or you're allergic to yeast.
Allergies to yeast. That doesn't bode well for a lot of people in our society. So,
it came to my attention that Placeholder actually has a really nice list. Let's go down a few of those list options there, Placeholder.
Okay, so starting from the lowest paying, I'll do like a little bit from each increment of 10. We're not going to go through all 50 of them.
All right.
So on this list, one of the lower paying ones is actually still pretty good pay. $51,130. Mail carrier.
You don't need a degree for that?
No, you don't.
Oh, well, that's right, because they hire veterans
Yes, they do.
Primarily.
Rail track laying equipment operators, which means that you can lay rails for railroads everywhere.
Phrasing.
There's a workout, though.
Oh, yeah. Like,
you're basically swinging a sledgehammer all day.
No. Did you not hear that?
Like, just laying track everywhere.
Yeah. No, it's a machine.
And you have to carry that sledgehammer around. I mean, you have no choice.
You gotta hammer that shit in
How
place.
you lay track.
Speaking of which, you can also be a carpet layer.
Yes, you could.
Throwing that out there. And a pipe layer.
God damn it.
Brick mason?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's no trade craft in there?
$51,750 a year on average.
You can be like Jesus.
Yes, you can be a carpenter as well. But it's not on this list.
I don't think it was a mason there, Ag.
Aw.
You know, I just realized this is the only show you came in and did not immediately say something religious.
Yes, that's interesting.
It took this long.
It took
this long for you to say something religious. All right, so back to it's not on the list, carpenter, but we were at brick mason.
Hold up. Does
Yes.
it require an education to be a pastor?
You have to be ordained.
Which you can do in about 15 minutes online.
It also depends on like which denomination. Like Catholics, you have to go to seminary. You have to go to seminary if you're a Baptist or if you're an Anglican or definitely if you're a Jehovah. But they have a different word for it. But yeah.
But you can basically get ordained very quickly.
Yes, because it's essentially meaningless.
Yeah. Unless you're part of one of the, like the Catholic Church, where it actually requires rites.
Yeah, well,
years
or if you're like a Jesuit.
study.
Well, the thing with the Roman Catholic Church is like they want to make sure that they're going to be willing to back you up in the eventual sexual assault trial. So they want to know who you are. And
Christ, man.
Thank you for reminding me. If you're still a Roman Catholic, you should be ashamed.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
that's
time to leave the Catholic Church.
Come over to the good side, the Eastern Orthodox. Yeah.
No, come over to the better side.
Not the Protestants.
Placeholder.
No,
Placeholder.
worship Satan.
I just want to explain something. Shame is just sort of the constant state of affairs for Catholics, regardless. So change is nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, they have a special kind of guilt, and that's what allows things like this to happen. Not only do they have pedophilia guilt, they also have Nazi guilt.
Oh, they have all kinds of guilt.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not talk about the Medici tonight, okay?
Yeah. Oh, let's not talk about the Borgias either.
I'm always going to blame the Potsy. Anyway, enough with the puns.
Dipazzi got his in the end. I mean,
everybody blamed the Potsy.
I mean,
and that's where we get the term Patsy.
Yep.
But if you've seen Hannibal, you understand what happened to him.
So, another job that's a little bit higher paying, railroad operators. So you can go and drive a train if you wanted to without a high school or only with a high school diploma. You don't need a degree to do that. And they make $54,000 a year.
That is freaking awesome. Where do you sign up to become a railroad operator?
Amtrak.
My guidance counselor lied to me. That is, I want my parents' tax dollar money back.
I think we all should demand that. I mean, my history teachers told me in high school that history was his story, so therefore sexist. So yeah. I want my tax dollars back too, but for different reasons.
We should all file a class action lawsuit against the United States government demanding our money back for all the wasted taxes we paid.
I didn't know there were still train operators. I'm still trying to grasp that. Hold on.
Yeah, buddy.
I want you could be there in the, just imagine you're sitting there, you're in the engine, you're like running the train, everything's great, and somebody that really annoys you comes, hey Captain, we wanted to dude. I'm sorry, what was that? We just wanted to I'm sorry, man. We got people on the track. What were you saying? It'd be so fun.
Choo choo.
Every single time they spoke, just stop doing that, dude.
Hey. Thing about trains though is Thomas the Train Engine has left me with like scars from the
terrified.
episode where they immured people one of the trains behind a brick wall and turned another one into a generator because he was bad.
Did they hire like somebody from Poe? You know?
Have you guys actually watched Thomas?
Like,
yeah.
I'm just.
These are real episodes. These are real episodes.
That's a cask of Amontillado, man.
Yes.
What are they going to do? The Telltale Heart? I can still hear his engine running.
I would not be surprised.
quoth the track laying machine. One more rail. No, that one sucked. Yeah.
You could always make clothes.
You can lay pipe.
We've been over that. We're done with the sex industry, okay?
I was talking about a plumber.
I thought we were talking about plumbing. Yeah, I thought this was an innocent conversation.
This is a family-friendly show, sir. Thank you.
Sure it
we
is.
don't talk like that on this Christian server.
Placeholder. Yeah, I know things.
Be a crane and tower operator. They make $54,560 a year, which is actually pretty decent money, especially if you live in Texas.
What is this?
A crane and tower operator.
Oh, nice. And
it's kind of like logistical work.
There's no high school diploma. I guess it's on the job training.
Steam fitters require some college or an associate's degree, but will accept people with a high school diploma. And they make $55K a year.
Nice.
So, I mean, there are good jobs out there. And then you start getting into like biomass plant technicians, which make like mulch essentially, and they make 55.5. Conductors make 56.7, which is not bad. It's almost 57. This is the thing that irritates me the most, and this is absolute bullshit. Gas station operators? No, they don't. 57.5.
All right, you know what? Now I've just questioned your whole list. No, hold on.
They're not talking about. They're talking about.
They included the guys from QT on that one.
Yeah, they're including
they're
a statistical anomaly there.
Well, no, what they do is they're the fuel operators. They deliver fuel. They maintain the pump.
Okay, yeah, that's fairly misleading.
Yeah, give me a second. You can be a real estate agent. Real estate parasites make 58.4.
Plus, you get that awesome title, real estate parasite. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a real estate parasite? I almost want to. It doesn't have engineer on the end, or I'd do it.
Well, you can't be an engineer without a degree.
Oh, you can be a sanitation engineer without a degree.
That's a very fancy way of saying janitor.
Or trash man. In New York, I believe that sanitation workers actually make upwards of $90,000 a year on average. So if you're living in New York City and you don't mind the smell of trash, go make you some money.
It's one way to afford an apartment.
Yeah, it might just be a studio apartment, next to the dump that you work at, but hey, it's an apartment in New York.
You could be a locomotive engineer for 59.3.
Locomotive engineer. Didn't we already get over train drivers?
No, that's a different kind. You're talking like Metra.
What do they pay the bartender on the club car? I would totally do that job. I wouldn't drink any of the back stock, I promise.
No, not at all.
I bet you those guys make huge tips.
Hey, you know what, man? If the oil industry comes back, oil drill operators make $60K.
If you go offshore, that pay increases significantly. But I believe that to be offshore, you have to be onshore on a rig for several years before they'll send you offshore.
And you can go be a jailer. Correctional officer supervisors make 62.7.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's money in taking away people's freedom. Thank you, government.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, makeup artist 66.5.
Depending, and if you do FX, you get actually paid a lot more than that.
Yeah, if you can do all the latex and blood and gore and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can.
They love us.
Make it into the film industry with that.
Hey, you know what? If you guys feel like, recreating a D&D movie, Postmasters make 70 and a half.
Postmasters?
Yep.
That's a pretty impressive pay rate for a high school diploma. Without owning your own business, which, by the way, I highly recommend putting on this list.
Yeah. Power plant operator, 71.
Oh, hold on a second. Are we talking about like coal power plant or something like that? Like,
It just says power plant operators.
I could imagine a coal power plant or a natural gas power plant being like that, but Jesus, man. You'd think that somebody would need a degree in a power plant. Somebody.
Well, sure, like supervisors, but that's just an operator job. You can teach a monkey how to do that.
Yeah, it's just here's the wrench with the rubber handle. Go twist that one over there. Yes, Cap, self-employed, the best way to be, until the housing market collapses and you lose everything.
Technically,
or your lung collapses and you have to sell out.
You can be a gaming manager at a casino, make $77,770. It'd be so much better if they can put it all sevens.
Oh wow, so close. Oh yeah, that would be. See, if you go and apply for a job at a casino and they don't give you a pay that's like the same number all the way across the board, you got to wonder if their slot machines are cheating or something like that. I would do it as a joke. I'd be like, here you go. We're going to pay you $33,333 and 33 cents.
Make money driving a ship.
Wait, what?
You guys ever want to make money steering a giant metal ship?
No, I could do that.
Okay, how much does that make?
Ship pilots make $83K.
What happens if you crash, though? Do you have to give that back?
You die. So the company doesn't have to bother with you anymore. You're dead.
You get the life insurance policy at least? I mean, like, you died at work, so that's double pay, right?
A little bit. Nuclear power reactor operators.
Oh, no, that is not a no high school diploma. Oh, you got to be kidding me. High school diploma only for that?
It's number 2 on the list.
That is frightening.
That is scary. That frightens me.
You want to know what number 1
Nuclear power plant operators don't need a high school diploma.
To be fair, if you're going
only need a high school diploma.
Let me put it this way: if you're going to college, is that really the job you want, though?
Not really.
So I guess they kind of have to pull from high school then. Shit. It's that catch-22. It's not ideal, but
then you don't pay a fresh out of high school kid $84,000 a year. Oh my god! All right.
Well, no, they're looking for experience, but
let's go with it. What is the number 1?
So, number 1, financial service sales agent, $102,860.
Well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cap pointed out you need a security clearance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But you can get that from the military or through the military.
Speaking of
something you could do having to join the military.
Yeah, speaking of something you can do without a high school without even a high school diploma, you can join the military.
That's not true.
Really?
Not anymore.
You can join the military without a high school diploma. That part is true. But the idea that anybody can do it is not true.
I'm guessing they don't accept felons, right?
Well,
No.
They don't accept felons. They don't accept people who cannot make a closed fist, who cannot meet their physical fitness requirements.
Yep.
And have had surgery or have had surgery that has altered their skeletal structure.
Yep.
Yeah. Not everyone
things
can do
apply
it.
to me.
I imagine I probably wouldn't not make it in terms of health, but
I've got one of those that applies to me. It's the physical fitness issues.
Yeah.
Surgery in the necks. So. The requisites were different during times of war, but here's the thing: is I was trying to sign up in like November of 2001, and I had my surgery in like July of 2001, and they weren't buying it. They were not. It wasn't flying. Of course, by like March of the next year, I was kind of pissed that we were attacking a different country, so I was less inclined to join at the time. But it is what it is. But they won't take you if you've had surgery on your neck. Or I didn't realize it was the whole skeletal structure. I thought it was just because it was my neck.
Joints are included, but no, neck is an automatic disqualification.
Yeah.
I can actually see it being any alteration to the skeleton.
Okay.
You know, like say you've had to have surgery on your fingers. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you can make a closed fist, that's fine. I cannot. And that is one of the things I had to have surgery on my hand. And because I have a screw in my middle knuckle on my right arm, on my right hand, so I can make a posture perfect middle finger every single time.
Yeah.
Huh.
They wouldn't have took me because I have a whole bunch of pinched nerves.
Yeah, just remember that, by the way, before you protest about who the military will and will not take. There were a lot of us who really, really wanted to go,
and they won't take us.
And yeah, when the recruiters are looking at you very seriously, saying it is a felony to lie on this application, kind of get the point that they don't want you. Anyway. So, yeah, the military is always an option if you can get it. Or if you're not too old like Cap and I. I'd probably qualify now. I don't know, I've been out. I could probably pull up a little sneakiness about the surgery. Yeah, and you can always be picked up as a contractor. If you're like cold-blooded killer and stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So, now that we've finished wrapping up around the military, let's go with software developer.
That typically requires a couple years in technical school.
Typically, and here's where I'm gonna call. You know, this is kind of an anomalous industry because the people, when you talk about what typically happens in tech, it's kind of different than everything.
There's a lot of outliers.
Yeah. Typically, you do need a degree to get a job with a company developing software, but typically that company was started by a high school dropout.
Yep.
And that is true for almost every single tech company out there. It is a high school dropout hiring college graduates. A lot of these tech startups were started by college graduates, but you know, a lot of them weren't. Look at Microsoft, one of the biggest tech companies ever. Bill Gates is a high school dropout.
He was a college dropout.
Or he's a college dropout. Yeah, well, he didn't, like, calling him a college dropout is like actually pretending he went at all.
He was enrolled and he did attend classes at one point, but he dropped out in order to do Microsoft, which was a good investment on his part.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that college is not always the answer. In fact, yeah,
you get a pointless degree that you'll never use in your entire life.
Yeah, there's plenty of interesting shit you can do as someone who is not a college-educated person.
Yeah, I don't consider half a year going to college.
Let me put it this way: if fucking Tyler Perry can make goddamn movies, so can you. All right, dude dude was a high school dropout, as far as I'm aware.
Totally read that sentence the wrong way, but you gave me a completely new idea for ways that you can support yourself and your lifestyle under the right conditions with just a high school diploma. You said if fucking Tyler Perry can, make millions making movies. And like I said, I heard it wrong. But if fucking Tiger Woods can make you a millionaire, then ladies,
No.
there is a job application out there from every lonely rich man.
Oh,
Just saying.
no. Sorry, not going to sell my soul. Not worth it.
It's not your soul. It's your vagina.
I know, but yeah, no. Nope.
Yeah.
Hello, by the way.
Oh, welcome.
Fox!
What's up? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. Talking
And
about
this is-
jobs you can get with just a high school diploma.
And this is Fox, a friend of mine. And
Pretty wild one,
placeholder-
I think.
And
Yeah,
placeholders.
that's what they call me.
By the way, this reminds me, we will not be having a brain trust next week. We are going to be taking the week off and partying like it's 1999.
Yes, we will.
So we can all cry in remembrance of the last great decade. Anyway.
Oh, how great it's been.
Well, we've actually had some pretty good decades. We had some really good stuff come out of them. For instance, the best thing we had come out of the 80s was the 90s. Right there at the end. It's like a Hail Mary, and it caught. Anyway. So there's another job you can get on without a high school degree, though your chances are about the same as Joe Namath's. Walk-on football player for the NFL. There are a handful of teams that allow walk-ons at tryouts. No one ever makes it, but yeah. It's an option. If you don't care about your safety or lifespan, rugby player is a good one. You might have to move to Australia. Okay. I'm sorry, you got me on a sports thing over there a minute ago, placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
How about football?
Football?
Football.
It's called soccer.
It's soccer, you communist.
Do you mean soccer?
Yes. It's football. You know what? There's a difference in the way I say it. So, yeah.
It's soccer, you communist.
See,
It's football.
They call it football because they were illiterate.
They called it football because they didn't preemptively know that we were going to call a better sport football. If you look at the,
enjoy a good old.
if you look at the
literally just word association. My foot hits this ball, therefore football.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
but-
right, no.
This egg goes in my hand, therefore football.
If you look at the history of soccer, by the way, soccer started in Europe among the peasantry, and like the one day of the year where the peasants didn't have to work, like no peasant had to work, they would have mass riots trying to kick a pig bladder across the city. And it was a literal no rules except you can't touch the pig bladder with your hands, and like no direct killing. There were like two rules: can't touch it with your hands,
no
and you
killing.
can't intentionally kill somebody.
So I can't bring my shank onto the field.
No, stabbings were pretty common, but you couldn't intentionally kill them. You could stab them, like you didn't mean to do it. Then it's okay.
Oh, God.
Like
All right.
you can mean to stab them and not mean to kill them. Like it was just like a little love stab, you know.
All
The
right,
intent to kill wasn't
What do you
there.
think? You
We
want me to
have-
love stab you?
we have capacitance with us.
Oh,
Yeah, I
what's up,
haven't
Cap?
done a hangout in like a year and a half, so this is my first time on mic in a long time.
You sound about the same.
Well, I need the better mic, but you know,
How you doing, Cap? I haven't talked to you in a while.
long time, man. I just figured this
Yeah.
was an interesting subject, so I'd actually bust out the headset.
Well, we'll welcome anybody in here with some great ideas. So you got some for us?
Well, the last thing that I was commenting on is that I actually won't hire people in my business that have tech degrees, just because they're worthless.
Why?
Every one of them so far has been worthless. It's
What are you
it's
hiring them to do?
like network tech, IT work.
Okay,
And if
they're
they
mostly probably programmers.
Most of the ones I end up get like MIS degrees, or especially when you're dealing with things like the ITT tech crowd, which luckily doesn't exist anymore. But like DeVry University, all those guys, the kind of fake degrees that you get, the certificates, those things are horrible.
Okay, see, I thought you were talking like actual degrees, like from like a community college or.
Well, MIS
actually-
degrees are going to come from an actual college, but the problem with the MIS degrees is that they are mostly focused on the business side of things and not necessarily the technical skill.
Yep, I've noticed that too.
So I look for the guys that are self-taught. They have that drive, and then I offer them a like a bonus to go get a degree afterwards.
Nice.
Because I'd rather encourage people that are good at what they do rather than somebody who gets a degree because they think it's what they want to do, but they have no aptitude for it.
Or because they think it'll make them money, but not because it's something that they're good at or they will enjoy.
That's a more articulate way of putting it, yeah. Most of the people that you see that come in with no experience and lots of degrees are those that are motivated by the wrong things, to be good at it anyway.
You were pretty articulate at putting it. I was more stating a slightly different intention. But yeah.
I don't really have much to say on this topic. I only went through 1 year of college, and most of what I've done has been fast food industry. So that, and I also got 5 teeth pulled today, so I'm in a little bit of pain right now.
Damn, dude, you should take a rest.
Fox, why are you still go to bed?
All right. Well, thanks for having me for 5 minutes. I didn't get to say much, but all right.
Yeah, well, dude, you just had teeth pulled, man. Like,
Go to bed.
You take some of the oxycodone. I'm sure that they offered you.
or if they gave you Lortabs.
Ooh.
No, just Narcos. But it's something.
Go to bed.
All right. You talked me into it. But hey, thanks for having me on again.
All right.
No problem.
And dentists give you good drugs, that's for sure.
Couple of weeks, but
That they do.
I
I had
didn't
a
realize.
root canal like 3 months ago, man, and that, they give you some drugs.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he had his teeth pulled, so I was like, go to bed.
When I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, they gave me oxycodone, and holy fuck, I can see why people get hooked on that shit.
No.
I don't like narcotics. When I had my leg surgery, I was on like heavy doses of Vicodin because I had just had my leg medically broken and cut it off. And I lost 2 weeks of memory to it, so I never want to take another narcotic, and haven't, because that terrified me.
I literally, after every C-section, I have made sure that I get off the narcotics as soon as I can walk, which is 3 days. Probably not the best idea, but yes. I don't like it. I don't like it.
To be fair, I have a friend who whenever he's had surgery and they've tried to put him on morphine, he's been awake for the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can understand hesitance.
Morphine is what they give you when you are when something has gone wrong in surgery when you are having a child.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
I don't think I'm going to experience that.
I've during my when my wisdom teeth were being pulled out, I actually did wake up towards the back end of the surgery. I could feel them stitching my jaw shut.
Okay, remember, when you have a C-section, you are awake. You are seeing this child be pulled out of you.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware.
But I've been told it's very much like having that injection in your jaw that makes you feel like you're going to step on your lip.
Yes.
No.
Is that what they call it, a C-section? Because you can see it.
The other thing is like the feeling. Oh god, when the meds that they give you start to wear off, and you can feel them pulling at your uterus. Yikes!
Oh, that's terrible.
They had to cut my wife during the birth, and that was pretty tremendous. Because there was a lot of scar tissue already from previous ones. Oh, there are sounds that you will just like. Look, if you have kids and your father, be in the room, but be warned, there are sounds you will never forget. And
wait, are you talking naturally or C-section? Because
I'm talking naturally. I'm talking like you see the baby come out and it's all covered in goo and stuff, but it's still cute. And you're like, oh, it looks like a raisin. Oh, wait, it's starting to change colors, and you're following, and then you hear this plop, and you turn and you look, and you realize what you just heard. Never leaves your head.
There is. I mean, speaking of medical procedures, one of my clients, they are a body tissue for science place. Right? So basically, people donate their bodies, and then they become the word they use is disarticulated. And I've been in the room for one of them, and they will. First of all, it's weird to see it happen. Just because it's a person, but the secondly though is there is a sort of an ease and precision that is person to parts in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it is there are some noises that you just don't ever forget.
The cracking.
It's more of the kind of the sinuous type sound. I don't really know how to describe it.
Yeah, but I used to drive blood to hospitals, and I often had to do morgue pickups. And I've seen and heard and smelled some things I'd rather forget.
Yeah,
but
it is pretty gnarly.
Oh, there's another job you can get with just a high school diploma. If you have a driver's license, you can get a job as a blood and body parts courier. Just don't ever ask what is in the box.
That's correct.
What's in the box?
It's better just not to know. All you need to know is where you're getting it.
There's a guy the guy at the local airport that asked that. He was TSA, and even though it was stamped with "Don't look in this box," he just said, "Well, he wanted to check it out and open it up, and it was a head, and that causes all kinds of problems at an airport."
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you market with biohazard medical stuff like that, they're supposed to leave it alone. I actually got pulled over one time, and the officer was talking to me about it, and he said, well, why don't you ask what's in the box? I said, well, because I don't want to know. He said, well, what if it's a bomb? I said, then I really don't want to know. I just want to get it there faster.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not like trying to aid and abet anything here. I just, I'm a courier, man. I'm just doing my fucking job.
I don't need none of that.
I don't want to know what's in the box.
It's a pretty amazing process, though. I mean, there's dozens, maybe 50, 60 freezers in this place, and there's barcode scanners everywhere. It was really weird. I went there in the middle of the night once to work on some of the stuff. And it was just weird watching somebody chuck human legs that were like shrink wrapped from a freezer into a van. And it's just something really just not right about the whole situation.
Yeah, yeah, it does kind of weird you out. They gave me an eyeball in a tube one time. That was it. There was no box. And there was no way to hold that tube. The eyeball wasn't looking at me. I ended up, and I really shouldn't have done this, and I hope my old boss doesn't hear this, but I totally broke protocol. Took it out of the what's it called, the cooler that I kept it in, and stuck it in a black bag and stuffed it in my glove box because I couldn't stand it. I knew it was watching me. Shit,
you just ruined somebody's corneal donation.
Yeah. No, I didn't. It didn't. It was still in the tube the whole time. It was, and it was ice cold when I took it out. It was just like a 5-minute ride.
Nice.
So I just didn't want to look at me anymore. It freaking weirded me out, man.
They store those things at -50°C,
and it was like partially collapsed when they gave it to. It was weird. I don't know if that's natural or not.
Yeah, it's natural, but the cornea survives.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual cornea that was. It was part of the white thing was like dropped in on the back, and it was weird. All this weird shit coming off of it. Ugh. I'm not a biologist, man. I work with machines and buildings and.
And then I would see something like that, and I'd go, now if I could figure out how to do that with makeup, that would be awesome.
Speaking of jobs you can get without a degree, though, can't you be a forest ranger?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you can be. Some member of Park Service. It's been a while since I've even thought of that, but a couple, like one of my all-time literary heroes was a park ranger. I don't think he was college educated. Never mind.
I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that there are a ton of grants though for tech schools. Diesel mechanics and all that crap.
Yeah, we actually touched on trade schools and tech schools earlier, and I highly recommend them. College is highly overrated. College, for the most part, is a waste of your time, and will teach you a bunch of crap you don't need.
And future President Mike Rowe has a whole bunch of things going on for it, right?
Oh yeah, and if you are looking for a job and you stumbled across this, check out Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe works.
If you're willing to work, there are a ton of ideas out there that you can go check with Mike Rowe, and he offers a lot of scholarships. And I think the only requirement is that you're willing to work your ass off.
Yeah, you have to show that you want it.
Yeah. Like you have to like sign a sweat pledge, and you have to write essays, and you have to he makes you jump through hoops, but there's nothing that it's not impossible. It's just a lot of work.
I'll tell you right now, I've been involved with plenty of, because I've been in business for 20 years, and the local community knows who I am. And so I get invited to do all kinds of speaking engagements and stuff like that. And I've been involved with several like community outreach programs where you're supposed to give advice, right? Or help somebody who is disadvantaged and help them to become something more than what they are. And oftentimes it ends up being, so this underprivileged community members that come in, and there's a misinterpretation about what the program actually is. It's designed to help you, but it's not designed to give you shit. And that's what a lot of people think that a lot of those programs are. And the failure rate is just astonishing as far as how many people just don't want to do the work to better their own life.
That's because a lot of people have been led to believe that programs and benefits are simply somebody giving something to you, and that's not always the case.
One thing they don't, the one thing that is given that people don't tend to recognize is that there are people who are considered experts in their fields or pillars of the community or people who are highly connected that can help you out, that are donating their time and their expertise to you directly. And it has no value to these people. And these people meaning just participants that are not interested in helping themselves. And it's sad.
Yep.
All right. So I've taken this conversation off topic twice now in like 10 minutes, but that's cool.
Well, I think one of the things I wanted to touch on was the kind of things you need to get a job in the world. And I'm really actually glad you're here, Cap, because as a business owner, you hire people. And as a former supervisor and somebody who is very business-minded myself, I understand what interviews are and how they work. And it's, the difference between an interview with somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who doesn't. So let's start off with a few things that you can do to definitely screw up an interview. Cap, what's your top 3?
Oh, you can screw up way before the interview. Resumes, if they're, poor spelling or just a lack of grammatical skill. You can really screw up before then. If you come in to inquire about an opening and you don't look like you care about yourself, that's gonna weigh into that. And if you don't look like you respect you should come in with some deference, right? Because somebody's trying, you want something from them. And if you don't come in with that, then you've already screwed up. But during the interview process, if a lack of confidence can really make it so that you are getting a fast track out of there, or too much confidence. It's a nice balance. You have to find that blend.
Man, you're tough.
Actually, I'm super easy if you can get to that point, right? As far as do you look like you showered today? All right, you're still here, right? Do you speak to me in such a way that I know that I'm not going to want to fire you in 3 days because of the way you talk, right? And I'm not even talking about just eloquence. It's more along the lines of, are you confrontational? Are you going to fit in with the rest of the group? Because that's one thing that people don't realize is that they do need to fit in. You have to fit into the company culture and the other existing employees.
I don't need your society, Grandpa.
Yeah, as a business owner, the last thing you want is fire starting inside the kitchen. So,
No.
That is definitely a consideration. I don't think I would have pointed out.
I'll light the grease on fire if I want.
Yeah. And that's all outside of the skill set, right? Because if you've got whatever skill set that company is looking for, like if somebody comes to me and they are a badass tech, right, where I can pose questions to them and they know exactly how to answer them, right? That's a lot of leniency, right? I will let them play with matches if that's the case. But barring that you can show exceptional skill, you have to be exceptionally people friendly. And that's just because we're a small company. I mean, there's not a ton of us, right? There's 10 of us in a building. And the thing is that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but you get 10 personalities and most everyone's been there for 6 years plus. All right, you've got all these personalities and they all feel like they are deserving of something. You bring a new person in, you got to be very careful.
Yeah, and I would argue that a small company is actually more sensitive than a large one. When you have, say, 100 people working in a retail facility, you have 99 other people to deal with, and you have a problem with one. Well, you got 98 that you can go talk to and work with them instead. Right. In a group of 10, there's not a lot escaping the person you're having a conflict with.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of things where I've moved people from one location to another. But yeah, it's tough managing people because that's not what I signed up for, man. I signed up to do IT work, and now I'm a people manager. I hate it.
See, that's why business managers exist. By the way, just so you know, and HR departments.
Yeah. I'm actually looking to hire one this next year. So
just an HR, one HR
an office manager.
Office manager, yeah.
And that it's just going to start its own fire, right? Because people have been working for me for 10 years,
exactly,
or 15 years. One guy has, and for there to be a change in rank and file as far as who do you report to type of thing, that's not going to go well.
Well, I mean, if you tell them, look, you're just basically a glorified babysitter who runs the, this, that, and the other, on top of managing the office fires. Don't start any fights.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a precarious position for whoever comes in for office management.
When you talk about a 6-year-old staff, oh man, yeah, you kind of set yourself up there, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, and it turns out that one of them, even though nobody knows it, one of them is my brother. But we've never told anybody. He just gets yelled at more than the others.
Yeah, I don't think I'd tell anybody if my brother worked for me either.
The way I describe it is we're not brothers at work. And it turns out that his wife is such just a horrendous bitch that we're not brothers outside of work either. So
I think when you're going in for an interview, some good things that you need a good mindset that you need to have is that this is an arrangement. This is an exchange of services. You really have to think of your labor as a commodity that you are selling. And if it's a shit product, then you're not going to get much for it. So it needs to be a good product right off the bat. And you need to make it, you need to be able to say, it is a good product. This is why it's a good product. And this is what I think it's worth. And then if you do get hired, you need to back that up.
Right. It's an offering though, right? It is of course, you putting it more eloquently than me again for the evening, but you are offering something and you have value, and it's important to remember that because if you come in such a way that you don't have that's what I meant by not having enough confidence, right? You need to come in and offer your skill set and offer it as a value to the company, as to that hiring manager, to say, I can make your job easier, better, your bottom line more efficient, your offer a skill set that improves the overall company culture. You can offer that, and that's super valuable to anyone who's in the position of hiring. You just have to make sure that when you do sell it, it's not a hard sell. You can't come off like a car salesman unless you are a car salesman.
There's the catch-22. I'm sorry, buddy. Your interview, you just came off like a car salesman. This job is for a car salesman.
That's why I had to throw the asterisks in there.
Listen, we're looking for someone who acts like a garbage man for this job.
You just sold it too well. We really were thinking about a marketing position for you.
Well, I think that's one of the problems that a lot of women have, especially in the tech industry, is that because I've interviewed some of them. I've even hired a few where they were just fantastic techs, but they weren't willing to be boastful in any way about themselves.
Of course not.
And it's indirect, and that doesn't work, especially if you've got a mostly male staff. It makes it much harder for everyone to sort of get along in that regard, because you're not speaking the same language, so to speak.
Yeah, I think part of the work culture that has been developed over 5,000 years of mostly men being throughout the work culture, the mindset is you have to constantly present what you're worth to the people around you. If I find myself at work with nothing to do, and I've gone to all my bosses and sent out emails in all directions, and nobody has anything, and I'm sitting there with nothing, I get stressed out. I get very stressed out because I don't feel like I add value to the company at that point. And at that point, I'm a loose end. And if you go into a company with the mindset of I'm going to show them a lot of value, but I'm not going to ever point out that that's my value, then yeah, you're not going to really get very far. You might get far with a handful of people who go, oh yeah, she works really hard, I notice it. But a lot of people who aren't watching you, who have their own line of work, they have their own projects that they're working on. Your stuff is always there on time, but they'd never notice you because you never speak up. Meanwhile, they've got John, Jake, and George coming in saying, hey, I did this, I did that, I did this. Let me get on top of that. You know, they're constantly showing their value to you. That's what a lot of that is with guys, is they're constantly saying, this is what I'm worth. You know, and it is kind of a direct thing. Is so you step up and you said, I did this, I did it in this amount of time. What else do you have for me? Somebody goes, oh, well, awesome. You know,
that's especially true where I'm at, because there is I started the company because of, well, there's a long story as to why I started, but one of the reasons is I'm a shitty employee, right? I was just never a good employee. I wanted to do things my way, and I was not really, I was too hard-headed to be a good employee. But because of that, there's very few metrics at my place of work, right? It is like, I don't micromanage at all. The texts that come in, I said, you know, there's no SOP, right? There's no manual. It is, you say you know how to fix this stuff, and I don't care how you get it done, but the end result needs to be it's fixed. And I leave them alone, right? And unless a customer is complaining or some other fire gets started in the office, I don't notice them. And so there's a certain amount of reinforcement of, you have to point out value.
Yeah. I think a lot of people fail to realize that the boss, besides watching all of you, has a lot of other projects on his plate. And generally speaking, if the ship is running smoothly, the boss is going to focus on those projects and less on you, because you guys, there's nothing that you guys need. So he can get to work and do what he's been putting off. And that's just how I like it. Look, I understand how an office works. I get it. But that's how basically it's just a microcosm for literally every business situation in the world that is in a smooth, good, functional business, you know, that's running it well and actually making money. So when you go in for an interview, you really have to put yourself in that mindset of and this is I think where I get frustrated with socialists and communists, is if it's all for the community, it is all for in the business, it is kind of all for the business. Everybody's picking up, you know, a part of the load. And if you're not picking up your part, you honestly don't deserve your paycheck. So why are you there? And if you don't have the mindset going in, then you're not even looking for a job, right? You're not looking for a career, you're looking for a job.
Right. The other side of that token is that if you are being offered a job, it's because there's a need that is being filled.
Yeah.
And if you can't fulfill the need, you got to go. And that's why you're worried about if you don't have anything to do, right? If there's nothing for you to do, you have that worry in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And at least at my place, right, we have to have a conversation with all the new people, right, whenever they come in, because at some point in the first few weeks, there will be this, I don't think Cap likes me, that will be said between employees. And they'll be like, why? And well, he doesn't talk to me. And he's like, the employees will all say, if Cap doesn't talk to you, everything is fine. Right? Because I won't. I mean, I'll say hi and stuff like that, but I'm not going to like stop and have a conversation because it's just like, if you're doing your job, I'm leaving you alone to do it. And if you have a problem, you can come to me. But I'm generally in the middle of 12,000 other things. And I would much rather just do my job.
Yeah. Oh. I think every business owner is just a disgruntled employee who wants to do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I am.
No, it's funny that you introduce yourself that way, because I think that's how I've always thought of business owners. You get enough of them together that are disgruntled in the right way, who all agree, and it becomes a partnership.
Right. I mean, truly, I started the company because I was a nerd, right? I was a network administrator for the county government when I was 17. And I had no weekend life at all, right? As you could imagine. And so I would go out and find these unsolvable problems. You know, people would refer like so-and-so has this problem, and I'd go over there and deal with it or whatever. And this one lady, and this is back when computers, PCs, if you were buying them new, were $3,500. And her husband died, and she had an infection on her machine, and she called someplace out, and they charged her $800 for virus removal and didn't fix it. And I was so mad after hearing her story and fixing the problem, because it was super simple, that I put an ad in the paper and quit my job. You know, as network administration, I just put an ad in the paper, said, I'll fix your computer for $35. And that's all I've done for the last 20 years. And so it's, I had good intentions for starting it, but beyond that, I already knew my limitations, my own personal limitations as far as working with other people. So if you are one of those people that are out there that are looking for a job, and if you have a marketable skill, you might just want to consider doing it on your own.
Yeah, it's always an option. Anyway, that kind of brings us to the tail end of our show. Please, by all means, do check out some of our previous shows, which should be popping up at some point on a card here. As well as some of the documentaries that our other staff have made on some of the great thinkers of our past. I believe the one coming up should be the father of the atom. My name is Dolphin Radio. We've had Capacitance, we've had Egglord, we've had Cassie the Ragdoll, and Placeholder here tonight on the Brain Trust. We're here every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Just a brainstorming session, live stream. And you guys got anything to say to roll us out?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, we're glad to have you, Cap.
Nice to see you all.
Egg, why don't you lead us out in prayer, since you want to do it so bad?
Oh God.
Jesus saves, but